Welcome back, everybody. This is 12 for 12's Radio. Your host, Paul Beyer. I am now joined by my guest this evening. I've been very much looking forward to this. I've only once saved my guest for the final segment, and this is a special one. So Suzanne Newman from the 12 Days of Goodness Initiative is now on the line with us. Suzanne, how are you doing this evening?
Paul, I am doing fabulous tonight. Thank you so much for having me on. I feel like I'm privileged to be on the air with you, so it's awesome.
Well, you're very kind to say that. I do this as a passion, and hopefully we can keep spreading the word that there's good things happening in 12's world, because I think there is a lot of good things, especially what you're doing, which I can't wait to talk about in the community, the alumni group and all the different things that's wrapped up into this. I think it's just fantastic. But before we get into that, if you'd be so kind, because obviously I like to introduce my guests and let them share who they are, what they're all about, and then obviously what they're going behind, what they're doing for our community. But before we do that, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how it kind of goes from there.
Well, I am a Washington native. Have been a Seahawks fan since 1976. I was a senior in high school when their franchise was awarded, so believe it or not, it's kind of been consuming in my life, and football has always been a great part of my life. Currently, today, through an inspiration of taking care of my own mother in the last 6 years of her life, I am the founder and chief visionary officer of AnswersForElders.com, and we are an educational resource portal, and we also provide consultation with families who are navigating senior care. So obviously you have a passion for what you do with radio and with the Hawks, and I share that passion, but I also have an equal passion towards seniors.
You know, I think with the baby boom generation getting so much older, I knew that we all kind of knew this was going to happen, and the fact that you've been out there on the front lines trying to make sure to provide resources for people that had questions about this, I think that's just fantastic. But you know, talking about the football side of this first, you know, you're a diehard 12th lady, and you know, I always want to find out what people's favorite memories are. And of course, there's the Super Bowl. But if there's something other than that, maybe, is there a memory that just resonates with you about your, you know, love affair with the Seahawks?
You know, I guess there's moments in the history, and it's going way back. I'll say one of the greatest memories I have is the magical year of 1983 when we won the playoff away game in Miami. I remember having vivid memory of being in a sports bar with a bunch of friends, and I just remember the jubilation with what had happened for us in our very, very young team at the time. And I guess for a long time I didn't really share that one excitement. Even then, when they went to the Super Bowl in 2006, there still wasn't that, you know, to that degree of jubilation. But I will tell you, it certainly came back when I saw Russell Wilson play for the first time in the preseason. I knew this team was destined for greatness. First time I saw him play, I was blown away, and I just remember that so distinctly.
I think you hit it on that nail there. For me, it was the same thing. I remember seeing him, that KC game, that Kansas City preseason game.
Exactly.
Where he just looked like he was head and shoulders above everybody else out there. He was something special.
Yeah.
This team is playing, I'd say, pretty good right now.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Earlier in the year, maybe it wasn't up to our par or what we thought we would expect to see from them after the Super Bowl, but they are definitely playing well right now. I'd just love to get your opinion and how you feel about what's happening with the Seahawks down there at the VMAC right now.
Well, you know, due to this initiative, I've had the privilege of visiting with several of the front office staff, and you know, the thing that really sticks in my mind is really the whole philosophy that Pete uses of always compete and always know that you're destined for greatness. And you know, that is a great metaphor for anybody in the world, to no matter what you're doing, that you're always capable of more than you think you are. And I think this team is certainly an amazing metaphor for every one of us to see really that are manifesting their own greatness and understanding that they're playing for each other and really creating this team synergy together. And I think that's really why they're so amazing. When you think about the majority of them were drafted in 5th, 6th, or walk-ons, rounds. They were never known. I remember the 2012 when they were drafted and they gave them an F for their draft. And yet, look at who they are right now. It's really about who they are and what they believe themselves to be. And that's probably one of the things I love the most about this team.
I love how you say that, because they don't define themselves by what others say. They define themselves based on how they want to define themselves. And I think that's such a powerful lesson people can learn and take when they are trying to do that in their life. And I agree with you. I think it makes a huge impact, not on just a community at large, but also children. Now, your cause has something to do with, maybe it's a little different. It's the opposite. We're taking care of our elders, and I think it's just fantastic what you're doing and coordinating, and obviously you're involved with the Seahawks program and their 12, the 12 for Good, 12s for Good hashtag. Why don't you go ahead and take a moment and let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you're up to, what this is going to be about, and when it all starts, and how we can all help.
Well, I'll give you just a brief background on how this all started. About the time that we won the Super Bowl, I wrote an article about the 12th man legacy and where it all started. And I told the story about my father that we had been diagnosed with colon cancer. And this was in about 1984. And at that time, he was given a autographed hat and poster by Coach Knox. And my dad, it was one of the most precious, most profound things that he'd ever been given. He had season tickets. He was an original season ticket holder, and he knew one of the things that Coach Knox wrote to him was, get well soon, Al, we need you up there cheering for us. And my father really took that to heart. He knew he was needed up there for his team. And I began to think, as I work with seniors each and every day, really, it's their generation that started the legacy of our fan base. They were the ones that started the wave in the Kingdom and all the different things that have evolved from their beginnings of going to the games and where we are to now. And so, given what my role is in the working world right now is with Answers for Elders, I happen to be exposed to and aware to a very, very depressing fact. And that fact is that 60% of seniors who either live alone in their home or in a care facility receive no regular visitors. They're pretty much isolated from the rest of the world. They don't have anybody looking in on them. And, we all go into grocery stores, shopping malls, everything like that. And society today just is kind of oblivious to their struggle. And they're oblivious to so many things of what they strive to do that's so difficult for them. And so I had a dream that if there could be a way that we could come together and say thank you to their legacy for creating our fan base and doing something to brighten their day when 60% of them pretty much sit alone during the holidays. If just one, every 12 could go out and commit one act of kindness during a 12-day period, which we call the 12 Days of Goodness, which starts on 12/12 and it goes to 12/24. What a difference that could make in our community.
I get kind of misty-eyed thinking about this because, I'm at that age now where my mother's getting older. Unfortunately, my father's passed on already. But I think about the loneliness factor, and I get it, and I don't want my parents to feel that way, and I obviously do my best to make sure I'm around, but in these cases, it's striking to think of that 60% number. It's crazy to think that they aren't getting regular visitors, and so I guess it comes back to what are some of the ways? I know that the Seahawks alumni group is involved with this, and they're going to be doing some
yes.
visits. But what are some things that maybe
Seahawks,
we can do?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, just on top of that, and talk about that, please. But I'd love to find out what are some ways that the 12s can get involved in this. Can we help?
Yes, you can. What we're doing is we're supporting senior services, as well as we have a website that will be live in the next day or so. There's a marker page for people to call us right now for any sort of interest that they have in participating. But if you don't know of a senior that to help, please reach out. We can match you with one. We also will have an advocate guide on the site that will allow individuals with ideas of different ways in which they can come forward and help a senior. And the main thing is just an act of kindness. Maybe it's a Christmas cookie exchange with a bunch of 12s getting together and doing Christmas cookies. Maybe it's visiting a senior community, a retirement community, and doing a hot chocolate or apple cider social. Maybe it is setting up a table in a senior center and doing gift wrapping. Maybe it's taking a senior on a shopping trip and helping them navigate through the shopping mall and helping them pick out packages. There's a million ways to do that. I know someone just not too long ago, actually one of our customers today just said she knew of a senior and she was going to get a pedicure, and it was a lady, and she stopped and picked her up, and they went and had a pedicure together, and she treated her, and I thought that was really sweet. So there's just amazing things that we can do if we just put a little thought to it. And I don't want to put people in a box. What I would love to see is for people to get creative and find ways that they can, using their own talent and abilities to make a difference. If you have handyman skills, maybe it's to make a minor repair. Maybe it's some yard cleanup for a senior that lives at home. There's a million things that you could do.
I think that's one of the great things about the 12s is we are proactive, to say the least, and that's a great message that we can be the ones that make this decision, and I like how you feed off that. Now, I know that there are some very famous ex-Seahawks alumni that are playing a part in this, the 12 Days of Goodness, and please talk about them and who's involved and why it's important that they're doing what they're doing and going out to these different facilities.
Well, we are very grateful because when I had this dream, I wrote to Seattle Seahawks, and they were very gracious and very supportive of this effort. And as a result, in contact with their organization, we felt like the best fit for what we needed is to have the players involved that the seniors actually cheered for. And so starting this Saturday, 12/12 at 12 noon, Steve Rabel, Paul Johns, Bob Kreider, and Kurt Singer, and Dave Wyman will all be out and around the Pacific Northwest. And then Saturday we have Terry Dion, Manu Tuiasosopo, Paul Johns is making another appearance, and Charlie Young and Alex Bannister are all going to be around the Greater Puget Sound kicking off this event, and basically going to various senior communities and senior centers to just to meet and greet seniors and connect, and I'm sure do a little bit of Q&A as well.
That's just awesome. I love this, and these guys are taking time out of their busy schedule, obviously. Rabel, I mean, is there a busier guy in Seattle than Steve Rabel? I mean, he's...
I know. We're so honored to have him, that's for sure.
I think that's awesome that Rabes is involved in this. And so, I guess we're kind of running out of time here. Suzanne Newman has been fantastic here joining us, talking about the 12 Days of Goodness program, obviously in link with the Seahawks and the alumni legends and what they're doing to raise awareness for our seniors out there in our community locally that are being left alone during the holidays. And it's just a striking statistic. But any last message, thoughts, and words that you'd like to leave with the 12s to help make sure that this campaign goes off splendidly?
Well, just think about the fact that the benchmark has been set, and we look forward to all of us stepping up and just making a difference to one senior, and I think that would make all the difference in the world.
Great message. Suzanne, I really, really appreciate you coming on tonight. And I think we definitely got the message out. I just really appreciate you raising the awareness with the 12s community and what we could do to help seniors' lives and our seniors' lives. Like you said, the original 12s, that's a big thing, and that is true. Always remember that, folks. And so I really appreciate you doing this and coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.